Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Hacker 101. All right, before we get started, I want to say thanks, guys. I have gotten a ton of support from you, lots of new subscribers. So I think you guys are liking the content. If you have not hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. And then I want to remind you, watch the video from the beginning to the end, until the end, because if you miss one little step, then you may not pick up on what I'm trying to show you guys here. All right, so today we're going to talk about a tool called Beef. It's called the Browser Exploitation Framework, and it is a really cool tool that pen testers like myself can use to try and hack web browsers or do client side attack on the web browser. So Beef with Kali Linux, the latest version of Kali Linux is already installed. If you have an older version, it's not installed, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how to install it just in case. All right, so let's load up Kali Linux. And you want to open up a terminal, and I'm going to increase the size of mine, and then run sudo su. That way we have root permissions. We're gonna do an apt update. So let's run apt update, and then we're going to run apt install beef-xss, and then just hit enter. In my case, like I said, I already have it installed, and some of you may already have it installed. But if you do not, then just hit yes, and it'll continue to install. All right, so now to run Beef, you just type in beef-xss, then hit enter. And this is going to start up a couple of things, and it's going to start up your Firefox browser. And once that loads up, I'm going to bring you back to the terminal here because I want to explain a couple of things to you. So this is the Beef login page. I'm going to minimize that for now. But what I want to show you, when you run Beef-XSS, you're going to see this web UI. That is the page in Firefox that just loaded up. But you have this hook.js file. This hook.js file, what that does is that connects your hacked victim back to the Beef um, exploitation framework, right? So the way a scenario and how this would work, let's say I have a client. The client has asked us to pen test their entire network. We have already hacked their website, their company web page, and so now that we have access to their company web page, we would add this beef hook, right? We would add that into the source code of their web page. That way, if any of their employees, when they came to the web page, then we could hook their browser and then we could perform attacks against their employees on their browser, right? So I'll show you an example of how you would, set up this hook. So I have a page on here on this machine here that I have added the hook to. So I'll do r www html/index. And if you look at the source code here, this is just an example page, right? But let's pretend like this is the company's website, right? Corporate web page. Here I put the hook in there. You want to put it in after the body tag, and before you close the body tag, just like so. And you put this hook in there, so now when someone loads this page, it's going to connect them back to the Beef exploitation framework, and then we'll have access to hack them through their browser. All right, so let's save that. And then, all right, so we're done with this so that we can minimize this and go back to Beef. And then to log in, type in Beef, and the default password is Beef. Once you log in, it's going to ask you to change your password, which I have already done so. All right. And once you've logged in, you'll see this is what you see. All right. So on the left-hand side, you have online browsers, offline browsers. Online browsers are victims that have visited your corporate web page, for example, and you have their browser hooked. They're looking at the corporate web page right now, and now you can control, you can try to hack them through their browser. Offline browsers are machines that were previously connected that have closed the company web page, for example. And in this scenario here, I'm going to show you. So, so I showed you the HTML code. I'm going to load that up now. And I had created a site called Hacked Website, right? This is welcome to my page. And for your purposes, I put this is a hacked website with the beef hook, right? If we look at the source code, You see we have the hook. It only works if you have this hook installed or added to the HTML of a page that you're going to send your victim to. They have to go to the page that has this hook, right? And if you look in Beef, you see, here's my browser. See, I'm on the web page and it has the hook, and you see here's my connection, right? So this is my browser that's connected back to Beef. And from here, you can see all kinds of things like, the date, the browser, the OS type, and whatnot. But the big thing is the commands. But before we get started with that, I want to show you something on the main page here. And if you don't want to create an HTML page and add your own hook, I mean, there's some example demo pages here, like this advanced page that has the hook already installed for you. But what I want to show you on the commands, so you have the green icon here. This means the command module works against your target, my target, my browser. It works against the target and should be invisible to the user. The orange icon says this module works against the target but may be visible to the user. The grayed out icon or the white icon, it says the command module is yet to be verified against the target. And the red command module does not work against the target. So when we go back to the commands, you'll keep that in mind. Some of those commands may or not work, and it depends on your browser that you have hooked, right? Some users may use Chrome, some users may have Firefox, and so forth. So not all these commands work across all browsers. All right, so let's go back to current browser. We're hooked into the browser because we still have the page open. Let's go to commands. And then from here, you can do all sorts of attacks. Let's find a simple one here. Let's just create a pop-up, right? So we'll create an alert on the page. There's no real value to this. I mean, you're not gonna really hack anybody, but you could play a trick like, hey, you have been hacked. All right, so I'm just gonna show you how the Beef browser exploitation framework works with a hooked browser, right? So if I click that, I go here and look, hey, you've been hacked. Wow, so we just sent a message, right? But that's not really useful. So let's do something cool. So let's minimize this. And let's say you wanted to try and, steal the employees' passwords, right? Um, you could, so you would create a phishing page that would look like their company website or their company email site. But for this example, I'm going to use the Google phishing page because it's already built in. So let's go ahead and go to social engineering. And we're going to do, let's see here, Google phishing. All right. So we're going to just hit execute. Now remember, I'm the employee. I'm on the company website right here. I'm looking at stuff, but here I'm the hacker on the back end. I'm going to select Google phishing. And if I hit execute, if I go back here, boom, look, it sent them to the Google login page. All right, you and I know this. This looks kind of it doesn't look legit. It says hacked website, but a lot of people would fall for it because it looks eerily close to the Google website. So let's put user@gmail.com and we'll just submit a password and then we'll hit sign in and I'm gonna say don't save. And then it just redirects them to the main Google login page. I don't know why it tries to load up this other demo page. What it's doing is trying to rehook it, is what it's doing, but we would have to change the IP address in there to match it to our real IP address. But the point I'm trying to make is, all right, so it redirected, they hit their submit button with their username and password. So let's go back to Beef. And then look here, we have the username and the password, right? We just fished a victim using browser exploitation framework Beef. And there's so much more you can do with this. I mean, I could spend all day showing you guys how to use Beef. What I really recommend is just install the tool, follow these instructions, install it. You can do exactly what I did, or you can hook your phone. Set it up so your phone you can hack the browser on your phone and just play around with the different commands that you have here. And I think you'll find a lot of cool stuff. All right, so I hope you liked the video. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I'll come up with some new video ideas for you guys. All right, thanks.